Hi, this is Long Rides, and we're here with Ash Ketcher for this episode.
Hey guys, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm off for the weekend, so I'm very happy about that.
Nice. How are you doing, Maureen?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm kind of jealous that I don't have a 3-day weekend, but other than that, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while, but I'm at a point where I'm just so fucking happy to have a job in this economy that
Likewise, every day I go to work and I'm terrified I'm going to get fired, but everyone is like, "No, you're doing a great job." But I'm just like, today's the day. I know it's not going to happen. So I'm very thankful for my situation, and I'm thankful for 3-day weekends too, because I'll work like all my hours in 4 days basically. So, and then I'll just chill for 3 days and then go off adventuring.
oh, that's awesome. That's kind of
Yeah.
like what I'm doing without the 3-day weekends. But like I'm just so stressed all the time. I'm gonna lose my job, and that this is gonna happen or that's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad about it about a few weeks ago, and he told me he's been with his company probably 10 years. His company's
Oh
actually my
wow.
first job. I was a temp summer worker, and I was the only person to fail the forklift test in the history of the company.
Oh no.
Um, but anyhow, I was telling him about all my anxiety with it, and he said, Todd, like, that's how everybody feels right now. I said, I'm a supervisor. I've been here for a decade, or however long. I'm going to say a decade. Who cares? And
Yeah, we'll
I
round
worry
up.
about that every day. So, like, as fucked up as it is, it's kind of reassuring knowing that everybody is having the same collective, not like what is it called, a collective
Worry.
delusion, but yeah, collective
Yeah.
anxiety.
Oh
hmm
yeah.
Yeah, especially what's going on in the stock market the past few days and stuff like that. My Reddit wasn't working and I was like freaking out. And I work at a cafe and my coworker's a day trader also. So she's making drinks and then she's day trading in between like drink orders and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, I'm like, how are you feeling right now?
That's funny. I don't follow that stuff because, quite frankly, like,
It's too adult for me, to be quite honest. Like, more
yeah,
power to her, but
I know
oh.
I know more about economics than like a toddler might, but that's about where it ends.
All right, Todd, that's a good start.
Yeah. Maureen, do you have any tips for the stock market or how to survive the current climate?
Oh my gosh. I was actually like poking around in my account today, and I'm just like, what am I looking at? I'm like, I don't remember doing any of this because, to be fair, I have an account and I set it up while I was drinking, so I don't really
Oh,
remember
nice.
all of my because like when people drink, they make like investments, and stuff, and
Oh,
they buy
100%.
totally. Anyway, um, no, I heard about all the stuff going on with like GameStop and all. It was because I work like in finance, so I hear about a lot of this every day. So it's sounds like a great time.
It definitely is interesting. It's way too adult for me, and I'm just a very carefree person outside of work, and I'm totally different. Um, but I do. It's very interesting though, in some aspects, like how the stock market fluctuates and stuff like that, and how easily like things can be kind of skewed.
Oh yeah, it's definitely for me. It feels like very abstract because you're like, okay, it drops this many points, then up this, and then I'm like, what is this unit of measurement? And I'm like, I don't
Yeah, I
understand.
was just
But
like, this is not too much for me.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
See, I've been having like a weird identity thing the older I get, where you're encouraged to be economically literate. You're encouraged to be political and all that. And I've always just wanted to be an artist. I really did not. As long as I had like a roof over my head, I could afford to watch whatever movie I want to watch, and like
hmm
maybe like go out to eat or something on the weekend once. I don't
Yeah, as
really
long as you're
care.
good for that cup of coffee or whatever, or like that little indulgent thing, or your favorite cafe. I never see like you never feel like, oh, I'm in financial crisis or anything like that. As long as I can afford things comfortably and feel comfortable in my house and stuff like that, I really don't have much worry about that. But I mean, I know it can't last forever.
Yeah, one of the most reassuring, horrifying things I've heard was, money comes and goes, but blank is forever. And I don't like that. So like I just have like stockpile money. Like I'm a hoarder with money. I have like 7 grand saved up in case I
That's
just lose
awesome.
my job or something horrible.
It's what my ex called oh shit money, basically. And
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
yeah, like you need to have like 10 grand saved under your mattress basically about shit money in case like the stock market crashes or in case like, you know, something happens, and it might be looking that way. I don't know. I might have to dive into my shit money.
Hopefully not, but
I hope not either.
But since we're not so well versed in economics or anything like that, and we're more of an art thing, despite being business owners, it's probably isn't,
everybody.
something we should be advertising. That, but that is kind of our business model. Is like, fuck it, we think it's good art. We'll see if it pays off, but we don't keep the money. We don't focus on that. That's just not. We want to make money because we're a business, but we don't as individuals make the money. We just put it into more art. So even as business on that end, like, we are a business. It's not some front or whatever, but it's not necessarily financially motivated in the archetypal way. But what we are discussing is art on this episode. And first of all, this is our first time recording with Ash, and we've been very grateful and very fortunate that you've been contributing for I don't even know how long now, doing Ash Wednesday on the site.
Since the beginning of last March, I think. It's going to be a year in
Holy
like 2
cow.
months. I know, crazy, right?
And you've basically been keeping the site afloat so that Marina and I can just go on like self-destructive vacations into like
Those are
bottles of
always
Jack
a
Daniels.
plus too. I'll hold you guys up. No shame in that. Yeah, the Ash Wednesdays have been awesome. I'm really thankful actually for these weekly blog posts that you have allowed me to do. Honestly, when it's cataloging my my Corona chronicles, I guess, basically. And I don't know, it's just very weird to like talk about yourself, but it's also weirder to write about it. And like, I never know who reads them until like I have people actually like message me and they're like, hey, I read your blog post today. And I'm like, oh yeah, like what'd you think? And they're like, oh, it was really good. I was like, oh, it's like very bizarre.
Yeah, we've definitely had that as well. And the original iteration of this show, Long Rides, was devised when Maureen and I were going to visit a friend in Philadelphia, and we were just talking because it was about a 6-hour drive each way. And we thought, this would be a fun idea for a show. And it might be a good way for us to connect with people, or even just to have fun and just bond as friends, is just to capture those road conversations, but in kind of a video format, where there's a topic and stuff. It's not quite as lucid. And Maureen particularly had people talk to her. And Maureen, if you want, you could get into that about viewing it. It's kind of a surreal experience. But
Yeah, it was very interesting. And I went to, I was actually visiting my cousin in Ohio.
Oh my gosh, wow.
It was like last year. And I had someone, and I went to visit her in her church and everything. And I had a gentleman actually approached me and said that, oh, I recognized you from somewhere. And then he was mentioning like the videos and stuff that we do. So I thought that was really cool.
The craziest thing. That's so cool.
Yeah, and he's a super, super cool person. And he said, hey, if we all want to go to take a trip to Ohio, he'll drive us around and we can talk about books and art and stuff. So
that's so cool.
Super cool person. And it was a really neat experience.
I'm a firm believer that like, even if like random encounters like that, and I have a few random encounters daily right now where I live in Philly, which is great. I think that's all like chalked up to like some divine university thing at this point, because the interactions I have with people seem just so genuine and so like locked on, like you've known them like all your life kind of thing. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys or Todd. I don't know if that ever happens to you like at work, or if you like see someone at work and like you'd be like, all right, like I feel like I've known this person. Like I don't know if that's like the artist thing to me or just like what, but I definitely can't be alone in that feeling.
No, I definitely agree. And I have that experience in just all kinds of facets of life. Like I don't really talk much about my job on here, try to keep those two lives separate, but like
I don't either. A lot of people don't even know where I actually work.
Yeah, I think we've all found.
Which I prefer that.
Exactly, because I don't like to shit where I eat, in the sense that like
exactly.
I do crazy stuff. Anybody who's seen my videos or like watch my stuff, I regret having coworkers on my Facebook. So like
my coworkers, I just added them on Instagram and I posted some more racier stuff from like a boudoir shoot, and like my coworker went on her break and then I saw that she looked at my Instagram story and I was like freaking out. I was like, no. I was like, ah. And then I had to look at her for the next 2.5 hours, and I was like, you see me naked.
I remember one time I was really, really drunk. When we started the company, it's been well documented, I was an absolute wreck at that
Oh.
point in my life. My whole life fell apart. I lost like half my family, a relationship, just crazy shit, and I was not handling it healthily or well at all. And I got on Facebook and I jokingly put something like, who wants a dick pic? and
Did anyone bite?
Well, one of my I forgot I had a few coworkers on there. One of them commented, "Todd, our boss is on here."
Oh no!
And my
Hopefully
boss
he
didn't
didn't
hit
want
me
one.
up. So
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah, so
Maybe next
I
time.
quit that job.
Oh, good.
But
Yeah, I never like to shit where I eat either, but I do support where I work and stuff like that. And when we do support local artists and stuff like that in where I work, and I do promote that within like through my page and through like Atomic Tampon and stuff like that. I try really hard, especially if it's like a local chick. I try to promote the shit out of that.
That's awesome. So that's what I wanted to lead into this with, and I can already tell this is going to be a funny kind of tangential episode.
Oh, 100%.
Which is
Nothing's
great.
going to be coherent.
Those are the best ones, I think. But can you just break down to us, basically self-promote? I know you just said that was awkward. So let's put you on the spot, uncomfortable. And like, can you just like say the sites you're contributing to? Start with ours and put the most attention on ours, of course. But mention the other ones in
of
passing.
Course. I mean, yeah. So through my channel, I try to use it as a hub, basically. And I've got you guys. I saved the best for last because this is Blogger Ash Wednesday at Longshot, and I always link you guys my latest Ash Wednesday article. And every Wednesday, I know I'm annoyingly over posting on Wednesdays because I have the Ash Wednesday blog, and then on Wednesdays I have the Women Crush Wednesdays for Atomic Tampon, where I highlight a new woman and everything like that I see in my life. I'm contributing to, I'm in Philadelphia, so I'm 6 hours away too, but I contribute to the Maniac Art Center as well. I do like their social media marketing posting, things like that. So I'm helping to fund and recruit different teachers and stuff like that for online lesson planning and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun. And then like special, like I guess COVID friendly events. We're still working on it. It's a huge age gap actually, and I'm sure you guys deal with that in your jobs too, the age demographic, and with like technology and stuff like that, it often like kind of hinders things from actually getting off the ground. I hate Zoom, first of all, and like to have like 3 Zoom meetings a week is torturous for me with anyone over the age of 60, because I kind of have to like hold their hand for the next hour basically and run a meeting that I'm invited to. And then see, like I feel like I'm just alone in the room. I have a Philly photography page too, Life at Lens, that I'm not really on much anymore, but I am trying to still post there every once in a while. It's kind of it right now. I'm a little strapped for ideas too currently, so I've just like been plugging away at Ash Wednesdays and stuff like that, and I'm working on something really good for next Wednesday actually.
Awesome. Well, I was gonna say I think that the random encounters would be an awesome Ash Wednesday idea, and
that is a good idea. Yeah, I'm actually gonna put that in my notes.
And it sounds like you've got enough going on as it is. It's more than I do lately. So, Maureen, you got some questions ready. Do you want to get us started here?
Yeah, I know this week we were going to talk about art and music and how they can, inspire one another. And first I want to ask, how does music inspire you, and why do you think that is?
Well, that's a really good question. My mood fluctuates a lot during the day, like the average person, I think, my age. But what really helps with that is actually having like kind of a soundtrack to kind of go with your day. So if it wasn't for music, be a lot of silence, I think, and I guess a lot of more dead air space. So music kind of is something, it's like I know 5 languages, which is kind of a weird fact about me. I'm kind of, I can, like Todd, I'm like knowledgeable as like to like toddler 3-4 year old in like most of them, so like I can get around. I can like ask where the library is in the bathroom and stuff like that. But when it comes to music, it's like another language basically, and there's different subgenres, so there's different languages of music, I think. And I actually live with someone who's studying music therapy, and I do art therapy and stuff like that. I'm studying to do that. So between the two of us, we work on some really interesting stuff together. So music definitely is something that's in the forefront of my mind daily, more so I think than art, which is actually a little funny because I'm very musically inclined. I cannot play an instrument, but I fuck anyone who does, basically. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. It's way better than what I had prepared. But Todd, do you have any thoughts?
So we're talking about why music inspires us.
Yeah, how does it inspire you, and why do you think that is?
Honestly, I think it's probably a negative inspiration for me in a lot of ways. I think I'd be a better artist if it wasn't for music, because the thing is with music is that a lot of it at least is so urgent and so immediate that like when you're a writer, which I primarily am these days since I got kicked out of the movie company, like I want to be that urgent, so it makes me more impatient. So like instead of writing,
it's hard to be urgent too. Like you kind of have to take your time with it. I'm an urgent writer, probably like you and stuff like that. And yeah, music is very cohesive and everything like that. And it's kind of like now, a lot of my friends when they promote music, it's like it's super fast and there's like always new music and stuff like that. It gets lost a lot of the time.
Exactly. I think that's another thing too, is like you see like artists that'll just drop an album and it gets hype over that because it's a surprise release, and just the entire world of music. Like even right now, like I'm recording this instead of watching a live stream that I watch every week of a dude playing music. You could do that shit, but like as a writer, you can get away with it if you're like a rock star writer or something, but a lot of us aren't. And to get that frenetic writing, like even something like a Bukowski type writing, and he was.
I was just about to say Bukowski. Yeah,
I was looking
so funny.
Music stuff, and his favorite composer was Beethoven, and he largely listened to like.
I listen to a lot of ambient music too at work. Normally, I can't listen to anything with words before 10 in the morning.
Really? See, my favorite thing to write to is Sigur Rós anymore, which has words in it, but like more so their instrumental stuff. And like that stuff I can write with, or like certain jazz and stuff like that, but like I feel too goofy. I feel like it's too much of a stereotype of a writer sometimes. It's hard to actually feel comfortable in it. Maureen, do you write with any music or anything, or do you prefer the silence?
No, I'm dead inside. Just kidding. As far as like, as far as music goes, like, and how it inspires me, I'd say it kind of helps me get in the mood to like create or do something. And I notice that of course, it influences your emotions. Like listening to something sad can for me, like propels me to write like more sad or somber scenes, and listening to something like super angsty, I can write something like out really quick. And I think for writing and for art, I will say like it kind of can influence like my like mark making. Like if I listening to something like super up tempo, like I'll draw a lot quicker than I would if I was listening to something like more ambient. And I've noticed that even like influences like what materials I use. Like if I'm listening to something more mellow, I'll choose something more like an ink wash or like watercolor, as opposed to
something
doing
kind of light and fluffy kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And as far as I know, like how it inspires or why it inspires me, I think there's just some kind of like weird kind of yeah, it's like some weird magic I don't understand, and I'm okay with like not understanding this great mystery of the universe.
Well, that's a good point that I've found, is like I kind of use writing as like a mental trip for myself, where a lot of my writing over the last decade has been from a pretty safe distance, from like being in the trenches, or like even like relating to a lot of my characters. Usually I'll like if I feel if I don't understand how a certain person can act a certain way, I might write a character that does, and then I try to work that out like a puzzle. And I try to, most people try as artists to put themselves in other people's shoes and see from different perspectives, but you can't always do that the same when you're not that kind of person. So I think that listening to music, like sometimes I listen to a lot of music I don't even like to get into different characters' minds. Like if I'm like writing a character, it was some of the stuff I'm working with now, for instance, I might listen to like some like butt rock or like country pop stuff, and I don't enjoy that.
No, not country.
No.
Once it's not for personal enjoyment, and this is almost like a softly coming out of the closet as having bad taste in music, but
You're just a country closet listener.
Yeah, like
My roommate's one of those. I found out the other day, and I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like, "Where's Luke Bryan coming from my house?" I was like, "We've spread a leak."
See, what I did once was I wrote a book, and I wanted to feel uncomfortable, so I just blasted music that I hated at the time, like Kesha and stuff like that, and just geez, it was like freshman year of college. I don't remember all the acts that were big back then, but like that kind of stuff that like play at my prom and piss me off. Like I would do that just to get myself angry, to get in the state of mind where I wasn't angry. At that point in life, I was actually working with my dad and very exhausted because I was sleeping like 3 or 4 hours a night. So I would do that to get my blood pressure up, and I'll use music to trick myself that way, and I think that's very helpful.
Definitely. I know like in high school and stuff like that. Side note, I never went to prom. But I did work during like high school, college and stuff like that early. So like I know about like 3-4 hours of sleep. I would get hyped up. Those like 3-4 hours of sleep that I did get, I would be listening to music the entire time. Like it's like I would set it on a timer basically. So like music kind of helps me like manage my time too, especially when I'm working out at the gym now. Now that I'm back to running 3-4 times a week, because that helps me with my art and flow and like mental state and stuff like that. I need like 6 to like 10 minute songs each. So like I know like, all right, it's been 10 minutes. I've ran a mile and a half already. Like I need to be doing this, or I need to like listen to this song. And I also have like that weird comfort thing where I'll go through like the saying like 25 songs or something like that, because I like know what to expect. I know what all the words to it and stuff like that. I don't get like anxiety over like, it's like kind of like when you go to a new place for the first time and you don't know like where the parking is or anything like that, but the second or third time you kind of know, and you're like a boss at it, and you're like showing your friends, you're like, hey, I've been to Jim Thorpe like 3 or 4 times already, come over here, I know this cool spot, don't go over here, they're really conservative, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think with exercise especially, music's helpful, and like you said, like I'm back to exercising too, and what I do to trick myself
do you
when
feel
I have this...
better?
Oh yeah, well I mean so I'm medicated now for shit, so like
That's
I
good.
can't drink, and then I just decided to go full sober, and I've been like eating better and shit.
I haven't drank in 2 years and 3 months.
That's
so
awesome.
I'm right there with you.
That's awesome.
But it sucks. Like when you go out and like people are drinking, you're just like, all right, I'm gonna go grab my water. Like
Yeah, exactly. I was that guy, and then I drank for a few years and couldn't handle it. And now, like honestly, I hate
That's why I
say
stopped. I was like, I can't handle this.
I just don't want the cash and calories spent on it, honestly. And with COVID, I was talking with someone.
Everything's expensive.
Yeah, and it's so easy just to like order a pizza every day or just binge a show every day, because it's so demoralizing being trapped in your apartment alone or with a roommate or something. Like it's so easy to do that. And
I try to stick with my schedule, and if I deviate, I find myself just having like a day or two where I'm just like in bed and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. Like this isn't good for me. Like I need to go to the gym. So like that kind of stuff. So like I love my 3-day weekends, but at the same time, like I need to keep it super like organized. And I'm like, all right, Saturday I'm gonna go off an adventure. Sunday I'm gonna go for like a 3-hour drive or like a run or something. Like I always have stuff to do every day. That way, like I never have any like dead time or anything like that. But trying to make time for art is so exhausting.
Oh, it's the absolute worst.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think music for me helps with both. Where like with exercise, like you need those last 10 minutes of the, like I have like an elliptical stepper thing that I use right now, and like that will get me through the last 10 minutes. Throwing on like a 10-minute epic will make it enjoyable. And similarly with art, if I can let myself listen to music, which is funny because right now I'm doing like all R&B and stuff, so it's like Boys to Men and
Oh,
shit.
nice.
Um, so I can do that, and then I can write because it's like my mind's doing two things. There's like the enjoyment and the work, but like just to toil away, burning the midnight oil is just, it's so much, and writing takes so much out of you spiritually, physically, emotionally. Like I don't think people appreciate that. Like something as silly as, like, I don't know about Ash Wednesday, I'm sure it does because it's much better than the stuff I write, but the stuff I've written for the site, like even though it's goofy stuff, it's basically just me playing up this douchebag persona.
I feel like a
It's,
character half the
yeah,
time. And I don't know if it's like real life or whatever, but like like people are dumbfounded. They're like, "Oh, Ash Catcher's not your real name." I'm like, "No, you fucking moron! Like, you really think my parents named me that? Like, what am I, like Moonchild or something like that?
yeah.
Like, yeah, like it's just like, come on, dude, this is a character. Like, this isn't real. Like, it's art. Like, broaden your mind, man. Like, seriously."
Yeah, and that is the thing that I don't think people get, that like you could say something on Ash Wednesday or whatever that may not be something that you would casually say working at your job. And it's not that
No,
one's a
100%. But
lie.
I have thought about it at work probably at one time or another. And I've like written it down. I'd be like, all right, this would make a really good blog post.
But it's so exhausting. And I think that music, similar to exercise, when you have to write, like what I used to do a lot of the time is like I would exercise while I wrote. So I'd be like using like the elliptical thing,
Hmm.
writing. I would drink way too much caffeine and just like, so I get that
That
energy
has
so I
something
could.
that has ruined me. I have become, throughout COVID and everything like that, all I do now is drink coffee. It doesn't matter when or what day or what. There will always be coffee.
So good news. We got Zoom has gifted us more time. They
Oh,
removed the
congratulations.
40-minute time limit, which I didn't know existed. So congrats
Oh,
to
What's
fun,
up?
us.
fun. Hoopla. Thanks, Zoom, our random video overlord who just popped up one day.
Yeah, I'm
All
glad.
hail the video overlord.
Never heard of Zoom before in my life before this.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't before COVID, and I didn't think I had an account. But then funny enough, I was playing on my phone today, and I went to go on an app that wasn't Tinder, but was some other one that
Or like
isn't
Bumble or something like
pathetic.
that.
No, it was
I
Tinder.
hear good things with
But
Hinge. I've actually found a few of my exes on Hinge, and I've been like, should I swipe right again?
well, yeah, that's my thing. Is I keep running into people like that, and it's like, it's just awkward and weird. And
Yeah.
but anyhow, I found Zoom on my phone, and
Oh,
I
nice.
forgot my mom had me make an account a long time ago to call when we were in lockdown, and I couldn't see them
Hmm. Have you seen your parents since? Clearly.
once or twice. But I try to stay away. Like this might sound shitty, but like with COVID, I know that I'm gonna be fine. I try to stay away from other people. I don't want to, like, if I get it, I get it. I don't want to get it, but I'm more
But you
worried
don't
about
want to
spreading
spread
it.
it either. Yeah,
And the thing is,
exactly.
my family, without getting into their personal information, they'd fucking die.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much like I would be risking many lives.
You don't want to, kill Nana kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
like, so the thing is like if I did that, I would make a ton of money on life insurance and be set for life and all
Yeah.
that.
And that'd
So
be
I,
cool and all, but, you'd kill Nana.
yeah.
You'd be an accessory to murder.
Maureen, how many people have you killed yet with COVID? I know that you were shooting for 10, trying to be a
Yeah.
mass
Double
spreader.
digits.
Yeah, I got about 8. No, I'm kidding. Oh,
Oh,
gosh,
nice.
no. Oh gosh, no. Um, yeah, I was gonna say with my experience, I pretty much just stay inside every day. I don't leave the house ever for any reason. I'm kind of in the same boat as you, Todd, where like my family, they're more like in the high risk category. So I just kind of I haven't been home like a whole lot. Like I think during like when we were in the red, I just didn't leave the house for at all. And now I'm kind of like, I'm okay with staying inside all the time. I'm like, I should probably
Yeah, you
leave
kind
the
of just
house.
kind of accept it, kind of thing. Like, all right, this is cool.
See,
Yeah, I had to.
It's cool to stay home now.
Yeah, I had to go like pick something up. It was going to be like a 3-minute endeavor. It turned out to be like 20, and I'm like, I never want to leave the house again.
Oh, I
It's
know,
so
right? Like
uncomfortable.
in that
Yeah,
traffic and everything like that, and there's like a line for everything now.
yeah, it's
There's a
insane.
line for the grocery store the other day when I had to
Oh
go get
yeah.
food, and I was like, this is bizarre. And it didn't help that someone was playing an accordion next to me
What?
too, and I was like, this is so Soviet Union. I was like, I really just don't want to pretend I'm in Russia right now. It's very bizarre.
Oh man.
see,
But I feel like that's more like Philly kind of thing. That's just a Philly thing. It's got to be.
yeah, there's lines here, but I haven't seen any accordions yet. I try to avoid the lines, and
I tipped the accordion dude when I came out of Trader Joe's. I was like, "Yo, man!" I was like, "It's 9 o'clock at night. Go on with your bad self." It was like freezing too. I was like, "Dang."
that's funny because the lines here, it's always Trader Joe's that has
Oh,
the
always,
lines.
yeah. I
Always.
don't actually. Shameless plug. I don't shop anywhere else for food. I have mad anxiety at grocery stores before COVID and stuff like that. And Trader Joe's was all I could really handle because it's like very happy go lucky. Like everyone's always happy to be there. I think like their employees are treated well from what I know and stuff like that. I'm sure there's some underlining things that I don't know about. Someone's gonna be like, well, they do this. I'm like, well, I didn't know. But it's just a very happy place for me to be. It's manageable. There's only like 4 or 5 aisles. I don't get overwhelmed. You know all the products. So it's like, I know what I want. So like I'm in and out usually in like 20 minutes. And then I like stay home forever after
I
that.
do.
But
Sorry.
no,
I
you're
do
fine.
Instacart, and I've never looked back.
Really? Do you like it?
I definitely like it a lot better. Like back at I like weirdly enough due to COVID, since working in finance, like I was working like 14 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I wanted to do was go grocery shopping. So I was like,
I hear at 10 o'clock at night is like the time to go to grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Like really late.
Yeah. And like, I just, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, I'll try it. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. Now I'm back down to working like regular schedule. And I'm like, I don't know if I would do like anything different. Cause I'm like, I can actually like,
does it feel weird to work regular hours now? Like, now that you have like time to like pursue other things, you're kind of like almost hesitant to like be like, shouldn't I be working kind of thing?
Yeah.
I get that way sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll just like, I'm like, maybe I should just check the same thing for the 5th time, even though I'm
let me go on Instagram for the upteenth time in like 2 minutes. Yeah. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm like, how about I just recheck this like, file status thing like one more time, and I'm just like, maybe if I stay till like this, maybe if I stay late, like it'll make something will happen. I don't know. It feels so bizarre, and it's really nice because I was actually able to finish my book, which was kind of like my New Year's resolution for like several years. And like it took me 8 years to finish this thing. Well, I finished it within the first 6 days of January.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm like, I can actually have time to do things. Now I'm doing like more art and stuff and doing like classes and whatnot. So I'm like, I can actually do stuff again. It just feels so
just like really, at peace kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like so.
Do you feel like a little bit more prepared for? I guess I figured there's going to be a few lockdowns in the next upcoming few years and stuff like that. Do you feel like more mentally prepared for that rather than like in the beginning of last year where they were like, all right, it'll be done by April, it'll be done by June, it'll be done by it'll die in the winter. Like nothing's dying aside from people basically. So I don't think anything's going to be changing anytime soon.
Right. No, I definitely feel more prepared, more at peace than I used to be. Like I used to be like, because pre-lockdown, like my schedule was like insanely packed all the time, like literally every day of the week. I mean, I was either like going to some event for like long shot or like doing something else like I was doing, and then all of a sudden all that stopped and like I had time to like recalibrate and like focus on.
Yeah, you just
like,
felt overextended, overstretched kind of thing. Yeah, I totally get that. I still feel that way, but like I can do it on my own schedule in the comfort of my own home, which is a lot better.
Yeah,
I feel like that French dude, was it Descartes or whatever, took all of his stuff from like bed or the bath or whatever. I forget, but it's like one of those kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Yeah, but no, I get that entire, and I feel like so. I want to say like at peace or relaxed right now, it kind of makes me a little bit anxious. Like, I guess it's the, you know, opposite of at peace. I'm like, maybe I should just take all of my plates and like throw them on the floor just for something to stress me out.
There you go. Just something for you to clean.
Yeah, it feels so bizarre to like not feel like I'm gonna, like, having that crushing feeling in my chest like I'm gonna die. Like it's odd.
Yeah, totally. How about you, Todd? How do you feel?
I'm not loving it anymore. The funny thing was like I don't want to, from a purely personal experience, the lockdowns at first were like a godsend for me because it allowed me to like get back into my routine, refocus, recalibrate. I was exercising more. I was getting more done around the house. Then after a certain point, I was in a really bad living situation, just roommates that were just absolute just terror, just at all times, just like trying to let my fucking
I've been there.
Trying to let my cat out, trying to start fights, just a ton of stuff like that, and just living in a state of perpetual stress. So it became like a jail cell essentially for a bit. And then I moved, and I'm in a much better situation now. But the weird thing is that for quite a while I had a situation where my mind was so used to the high stress levels that it started, and Maureen knows this because I've called her like a dozen times just to like, you know, like complain about stuff or like
to vent and
rant.
stuff like that.
Yeah. And it was stuff like from years ago or whatever. Like, what if they've, you know, like this happened and I did this paperwork wrong and then therefore that gets long shot book shut down, or you know, just stupid, like you're over.
Yeah, like what if I didn't file something correctly? Yeah, it's like things like that.
Yeah, and so it got to that point for me where I was just inventing things to be stressed about. And now I'm just at a point where like I'm just ready to, like you said, like I'm ready to be at the bar and order a water.
Yeah.
Like I miss people.
I just want human interaction, and thankfully I get that at work still. I do commute to work still, which I'm oddly thankful. I am around a shit ton of people though. Like a shit ton. Like I have a whole fucking town come through my place of work kind of thing. And I hear all kinds of stuff. I hear people's political opinions. I hear people's, you know, family issues and stuff like that. Like it's a place to kind of come briefly to share and then bounce kind of thing. And I sit there for like 8 hours listening to people talk while they order and stuff like that. And it's very bizarre, but I'm thankful for it. Because I think without that human interaction, like FaceTime, I wouldn't know what to do. And even from like an art standpoint and stuff like that, I wouldn't be as inspired. I wouldn't have more to share. I wouldn't have more to post about. I wouldn't have more to kind of drive me, I guess, if it wasn't for like these little side adventures, I guess you could call it.
No, that's very true. And so I'm still working from home, and I have been since the lockdowns before they began even. So like I was very social at work. I kind of was one of those people that knew everybody. I went out for work events. Yeah,
you did like happy hours, groups, like things like that.
So that part at this point in the year, you know, January is kind of a depressing point in the year because the holidays are over, but the weather's still
that, like,
shitty.
Third quarter slump or whatever, or fourth quarter. I don't really know quarters, but
yeah, I think it's the first for the year at least.
Is it the first?
It's the first month, so I'm assuming it must be. But
it's
that stuff bullshit. I definitely miss. I have to admit, Maureen, I don't totally, and maybe this is going to be once again one of those things that no successful publisher would ever say, but we're still like at the bottom of the totem pole, which I love. I'm happy to be there. I like our little niche.
Someone's got to do it
because I can say this shit and nobody cares. But I don't totally miss going to events. I miss seeing people read. I miss the social aspect. But it's such a weird, funny thing when you're like a publisher and you feel like a talent agent at like the high school football game or something, and you just feel
you're
like
scouting.
A suit. Yeah, and the funny thing is for like us, and Maureen, I'm sure that it's the same for you, like I'm watching people just like genuinely interested in wanting to be supportive because like I've released books that sold 0 copies that nobody's read. No joke. So like I try to message people on Facebook or whatever, like, hey, that was awesome. That's so exciting. And
I
just
try to going to open mic nights and stuff like that just because I never knew who you would find and discover and stuff like that. Like, you could be really good. It could be bad. Like, you never knew.
Exactly. And, like, that one person coming up to you after a show can totally change whether or not you ever do it again. No joke. So, like, I try to be that person, but I also think, like, I probably come off as like the biggest stiff loser, the corporate asshole.
I apparently have resting bitch face, and I'm just like, now I'm really thinking. Like, I'm sorry if I come off looking like a bitch. The mask actually helps with that because it kind of hides my face, like of total disdain for people too.
You should get a mask with just like a little smile on it, like an old Walmart rollback smile.
That's a good idea.
That'll
Mine had a rose on it today, but I try and switch them up.
I have 2 masks that I wear predominantly, and Maureen's mom made both of them for me, which is very nice of her.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have one to go with every outfit that I have now, so that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, but
I actually poked a bunch of holes in mine so I could breathe because I was worried that like I wouldn't get oxygen. So
or like it slip like a straw through there or something.
Yeah, and I could drink. I could just like splash Gatorade on my face when I'm in the checkout aisle, like an athlete, and then some of it'll get in through the mask. It's great.
Oh, the worst is going to the gym and running with that on your mouth. Oh my god, I bought an extra big one because I was like, I run 10 miles usually when I'm at the gym, and I was like dying after like the 3rd or 4th mile. I was like, I can't fucking do this.
Oh,
that's insane.
It's a lot. It's crazy.
My sister's in softball and she has to wear the mask at practice and stuff. And like I just hear it's just pure misery. Like I only exercise at my house because I know if I have to drive to a gym, I won't do it.
I do have a space in my house for like a home gym, but I live with like 4 or 5 other people. So like I don't always, one, that area is not always available to me, but 2, like I need like gym equipment if I'm not going to be like running out on the street.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes a huge difference. Maureen, what's the next question? We're going at like 40 minutes now, so I guess we should.
Oh, good. I was gonna ask, do you listen to music with lyrics or without when creating?
Both. Lately, it's been more lyrical. I've totally had like a weird resurgence of punk rock music that I've chose to revisit, which has been nice. Actually, it's a very nostalgic time for me to listen to that kind of music.
That's fun. I used to listen.
A lot of angry shit is being produced.
It's fun. I was just thinking about a band that isn't punk and was gonna say, "Oh yeah, I used to listen to this all the time when I wrote," and then I realized that it's not. I was gonna bring. I used to listen to fucking Minor Threat, the discography, just every night at work before.
I used to listen to Minor Threat a lot.
I consider them hardcore though, but
do you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really split hairs.
Did you ever go to a hardcore show or anything like that?
No,
anytime
never.
I'd go to like a hardcore show, like I don't know, like I'd always be like really hesitant to like jump in the pit. But now all I want to do is like beat the shit out of someone in a mosh pit at like almost 30 years old. Like there's got to be something wrong with me.
Yeah, my roommate has been to a bunch of like punk shows and hardcore shows and stuff.
I
was at like
a
few, but like I just basically all through college and all growing up, I was like so impoverished and just going by the seat of my pants, just trying to stay fucking afloat, that I just never really had time for extracurricular. I'd like go see my favorite band once a year would be the big thing.
Oh, that's cool. What would be your favorite band that you'd see?
Say Anything.
Okay, nice. I used to see like Coheed and Cambria like every year for like 10 years. So like when that didn't roll around last year, I was like, all right, no Coheed, cool.
Yeah, it becomes like a weird holiday kind of tradition.
It's a thing. Yeah, it becomes like a weird like little fixation.
And the funny thing is like people either totally get that when you see bands multiple times or they don't. Like
they're like, well, why would you see the same band? You know what's gonna happen. I was like, exactly. That's exactly why I go, because I know I'm gonna have a good time.
I'm trying to think who the last. Oh, Maureen, we went to the last concert together before.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
It was Built to Spill.
Yep. Yeah, we saw Built to Spill like shortly before lockdowns, I think.
Oh shit, nice. The last like actual like larger venue show that I saw was back in like November of 2019. So it was like way before COVID even was like getting at least the United States, I think. But I saw the Menzingers and I saw no, the Menzingers played with Tiger's Jaw. Tiger's Jaw was the last thing that I saw, and the Menzingers at the Electric Factory.
I love Tiger's Jaw's. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. Their pizza album.
Yes, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, I listen.
I
all
have
the
their
time
whole
and stuff.
discography on vinyl, and I like run into Ben sometimes, like in South Philly and stuff like that, and he's like, "Oh, he's very nice."
That was a big thing I was into, writing one book, and then
Very cool.
what the hell's his name? Oh, Jeff Rosenstock. He had 2 big albums.
Love Jeff, yeah.
And that was one of my major
he's great.
inspirations for creating the narrator of the last 3 books that I wrote. Was largely just based on his persona.
Yeah, I feel like my ideal guy would be like a weird combination of like Jeff Rosenstock or like Pat the Bunny, like just like a weird like kind of dad bod man child kind of thing that I can envision. You know, that's probably my dream.
Well, the good thing is that there's a ton of supply for that demand.
Oh, 100%.
Personally, I'm trying to leave that demographic, but
I'm definitely trying to branch out these days. All kinds of genders, whatever's, but yeah, that's probably who I'm gonna end up.
Classic
with.
Chris Pratt. Back
Classic,
on
yeah.
Early
but
Parks
minus the weird religious thing that he's got going on now.
I'm not too familiar with it.
Chris Pratt's like a real Pratt right now, apparently. I don't know.
That's what I hear, and like I don't know. Like what I always think when people in Hollywood are pissed are like, I hate the people in Hollywood. So like, how much of it's this person being crazy, or how much of it is that person being kind of normal? And
yeah,
then,
like what is normal in a Hollywood standard kind of thing.
Yeah, like I just saw an article from 2017, and it was Seth Rogen, and he said everybody in Hollywood knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing, and people were posting pictures of him with Harvey Weinstein events, and it's like, yeah, dude.
Probably because a lot of people do it too.
Yeah, it's like, you can't pick, oh yeah, we all knew what was going on. It's like, yeah, that makes you kind of complicit.
Yeah. I just feel like that's everybody these days. Is like the complacency of everything. Like,
oh yeah, like I think that's a big thing for long shot books that like Maureen and I talked about a lot when we started the company, was like how uncomfortable we are with like not just publishing houses as artists, but just like a lot of art scenes in general. Because like I don't want to be this way, but a lot of artists are fucking creeps. And
yes, I get approached 5 or 6 times a day, maybe. Do you want to collaborate? Do you want to do this? You're so pretty. I need a model to do that. I'm like, yo, whoa, dude. I was like, first of all, I don't know you. Second of all, you're just some random fucking person that added me on Facebook. Why the hell would I collaborate with you? I don't know what you're attached to. Like, that's going to look bad on me. Like, get out of here with that. Like, I need to be very careful with who I work with. Like, and I think I've just realized that like recently.
We had the same thing. Like our initial thing with this company was we wanted double blind submissions. And the only reason we didn't go through with that was because we just couldn't get the technology there in time for the time span we wanted to release a book in. We wanted double blind. We wanted just to be open, like anybody can do anything. It was basically a free speech kind of thing where we don't have to agree or disagree. We want to keep it away from politics or something, something like 10 reasons gay people shouldn't vote. We wouldn't publish that. No. But in terms of art, because the
gays carried us through Georgia, I'm pretty sure. So
what?
With the whole Georgia blue thing, I'm pretty sure every gay person in Georgia voted.
But like generally with art, we want to focus on the art and stay away from the artist, and that was our whole ethos at first. And what we found out almost quickly was that like that just wasn't possible today with the internet, with the political climate. Like I still don't think that we really like take hard stances or anything, but like there's certain shit where it's like with certain people we had to get kind of discriminatory because they were a minority and we didn't want to work with them. No, because like they were like assholes and just crazy people, and we would get threatened and shit. And it was like, yeah, we got to put some walls up at this point, even though we don't want to. Like this is why there's barriers to entry, unfortunately.
Exactly. I have a lot of friends on Facebook. There are a lot of artists and stuff like that, but they're all pretty fucking creepy. I have a huge block list as well. Like, just because I have like a huge list of friends doesn't mean like my block list isn't like 10 times that. Like, you have to break a lot of eggs, kind of thing.
I definitely agree. And all 3 of us. Now, I might be the only person here saying this, and this will be one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. But I'll walk on that limb. I'll tread the water. I think generally artists in general are all kind of weird perverts in some way or another. And I don't mean sexually even, but like artists are precocious. Like if anybody's going to be creepy, that is the general.
I think we fixate on things. Like we just like kind of ruminate and like not like anything in particular, but like to capture something, like you need to kind of dive deep.
Yeah, and one thing I do a lot of studying on like body language and
Oh, I have horrible body language when I talk to people. My arms are always crossed. I probably come off like a huge bitch.
oh yeah, like the last
I'm
few
talking
dates,
to people.
the last few dates I've went on, I'm always like I like man spread like crazy, my arms
Oh,
all
no.
over the fucking place, and I'm like, I gotta look comfortable. You must present yourself as alpha. But really, it's like, is this guy having a seizure? What the fuck?
But
Why
is
does his
he
head
good?
keep rolling around?
That's so funny.
but like you look at that stuff because you want to understand how people. For me, writing, I want to understand how to write characters and express things without the character saying, "I'm feeling sad. I'm reserved because I don't have trust in our relationship." So you have to do it through ways that are not quite as on the nose. But then what I find, and I think this is true with like visual art and acting or directing or painting or anything, is that when you find yourself in that situation, I always second guess like, is this what I'm doing, or am I almost authoring myself as a character and presenting myself as certain? When you overthink shit,
you definitely
so
don't want to
much.
solicitate either.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an uncomfortable, harsh thing, and I think that like 200% of my time is spent trying not to look like I'm doing something that I'm actually just not doing, and could just avoid by just being comfortable and just being straightforward, if that makes sense. And I think a lot of artists have that, where they're so self-aware and so conscious of those things that they're self-defeating.
Oh, you're like your worst critic and like biggest cheerleader. Like it's strange to be like an artist and especially like working with yourself for yourself, if that kind of makes sense. Like I work with myself to promote myself, but I'm the one. I'm basically a business, and like to kind of like project that and stuff like that. It's like I feel like I'm coming off as like a fucking narcissist half the time when I go to like post something. Like I know the world is like tits up and stuff like that, but it's like, hey, I just released an article. Like I feel guilty sometimes, but at the same time I'm like, no, this is who I am, this is what I want to be portrayed in life. Like I need to do this. Like if I don't do this and it doesn't get out, like I'm gonna die basically.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because like Ash Wednesday, for instance, came out at the perfect time. Because
Yeah, it's like a crazy like chronologic order thing. I kind of feel like Indiana Jones, like 3 days out of the week. Like I'll go and like write about something. I'm like, like this would be like a really cool like adventure. Like I'll go here. And like even like the last place I went, like that lake, like I did like a 5.5 hour round trip just to go to a fucking frozen lake for 20 minutes and freeze my ass off. Like every time I go to the Poconos, I don't know why, but I'm wearing like tennis shoes all the time. And like I'm always underdressed and it's always snowing.
so
So I don't know if I just hate winter or like if I'm just really ill prepared and I like to write about it. It's like one of those things.
I was gonna say, like, do you feel motivated by writing to go out and do these things, so then that actually benefits your personal life by giving you that gas to get out of bed on those days?
Definitely the gas. But I would do that stuff regardless if I was writing something like on a weekly basis. I still like going out and doing things. I've always done solo adventures and things like that. And people have always come up to me. They're like, hey, like it's really cool that you go and do all these things and stuff like that. They're like, who do you go with? And I'm like, no, I go by myself. Like I go to these abandoned buildings by myself. Like I do this stuff like on my own time because I can trust myself. I don't need to wait for other people. I like a very punctual person. And like if you can't match me, like you're late basically and like you're too late to the party. So like I'm like I love my own time line and everything like that. Like I really value that stuff and I think it's important, especially when you're budgeting so much so many projects and stuff like that. I feel like you can definitely understand that.
For sure. And going back to Ash Wednesday, the time it came out, before I forget what I was gonna say,
Yeah, no problem.
the funny thing was like when you started doing that, and the way that we all met up was because of thanks to Lexi Spino, and you had reviewed her
Yeah, that
book.
was awesome.
And unfortunately, the thing with that book that's just such a shitty thing, because I don't know how much you know about the release and how much Lexi had planned and was doing. And without giving things away,
I
think
know she had a whole tour planned and stuff like that, and she was supposed to perform at a venue where I live now, or like in the town over. And I messaged her. I said, "Hey, is that still going on?" And she's like, "No, like it got canceled because of COVID. I'm actually going to this bookshop on South Street." And I was like, "Yo, bitch, like, give me when, where, like, I'll go, like, I'll go out." And it was me and 12 other people, and I think it was the only one from Philly there. In Philly,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
it was still rad.
Speaking of, like, music and art, like Lexi had it set up like a fucking tour, like Rolling Stones or something, and it was so ambitious, and we had so much prepared for this tour, and then immediately COVID hit. And on top of like the tour getting postponed or canceled or whatever the status currently is, there was also this tremendous guilt on us as a publisher where it's like, you know, are we people or are we marketers, so to speak? Like, because Marie and I, first of all, like, we're uncomfortable soliciting, like you said.
Yeah.
Like, we're excited. We want to put out good art. We want people to read the
you
book
want to.
because we think the book's great, not because we're pocketing money from it or anything like that. But also when like everybody that, like, I can say like my parents either lost hours or were out of work, my siblings were out of work, like there's just everybody I know didn't have a job or
My brother's been out of work since last year, and he lives with me now, so like it definitely, like, things have had to like shift and things like that. And yeah, just like I felt really bad about the whole tour and stuff like that. I was so psyched for her to like go back on tour again, because I saw her back in 2018 actually at like some punk house, and I was like, this is so fucking cool to have a poet at a punk show. I was like, what a fucking awesome combination.
Exactly. And that stuff, like I just can't emphasize enough how ambitious her plans were, and how, quite frankly, just like how successful she was in the short period. She had like a window of maybe 2 weeks, if not 3, and she did so great with it. And like then we were riding the momentum of that, trying to promote that stuff, and then COVID hit. And so like it was a weird time for us. Like, we shouldn't be selling things right now. People can't afford food. People can't afford the roof over their head. This is like not ethical for us to try to capitalize right now.
I feel like a lot of things aren't really ethical. Like, I know usually with like even like my commission pieces and stuff like that, I've like kind of scaled back on doing that because I feel horrible asking for money from people. But it's at the same time, it's something I enjoy doing, and it's like this is what my passion. And like there's that whole line. It's like, are you compensated, you know, for the fact that you're just doing it to do it, or like are you doing it to make money? Like there's like that weird finite.
For sure. And I'm not saying I'm against selling things or anything like that at all, of course. Like, it's consensual.
I feel like I sell myself every day.
Yeah, like if somebody wants to buy your commission,
I consensually sell.
if somebody wants to buy your commission, they can, and if they don't have the money or they don't want to, they don't have to. So that's great. That's the beauty of it. But what was great about Ash Wednesday for me, and what it really inspired me and other people that I know to have an interest in art in these trying times, was seeing stuff like that. People like the dude live stream that probably just ended a few minutes ago, just doing an acoustic show, or Ash Wednesday, just writing something every week, blog posts, short stories online, poetry. Seeing that and just having that and saying like, you know, this sucks. We're all locked inside. We're all stressed. We're all bored. We're all depressed.
Yeah,
Here's
I think
poem.
people
Is the coolest thing.
Here's something I made, kind of thing. It's like one of those things.
It's distraction. It's just entertainment for just a little bit of time to get your mind off the death tool, you know?
Basically, yeah. That or the latest celebrity dying. I'm still really pissed off about like Larry King dying. I know that was still like last week, but
I didn't know Larry King. I'm pretty depressed about MF Doom still. That one hurt.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Well, Maureen, where are we in the questions?
Well, I was going to ask, do you have any distinct music listening phases, or do you just kind of like go with the flow, or how does it work?
So my breakdown usually is, I feel like I did an Ash Wednesday about this, but I love getting caught up in like certain genres of music and stuff like that. And I'm one of those strange people that'll listen to an album like for the entirety of it. Like I gotta listen to the album the whole way through. Like I can't just listen to like 3 songs. That's my favorite thing. Like I need to take time and like listen. But lately I've been revisiting, aside from punk, industrial music from like the 90s and stuff like that. Just like really weird machine based stuff. And I think with what's going on in this world, everything just seems kind of mechanical right now. So I just feel like that kind of music has kind of like, I've reverted almost back to that. Like that like safety net when you're like 15 in high school and kind of thing. Like when things are bad, you kind of go back to like a time, I guess, that you felt like safe. But like musically, like I feel like I'm 15 again. It's bizarre to like listen to like Ministry and like KMFDM and like DOA and like weird stuff like that again. A lot of German industrial music too is what I've been listening to. But yeah, how about you guys?
Maureen, you want to go first?
Sure. I mean, for me personally, I kind of have like, I definitely know I have phases. I usually like um, alternate between like either like punk, more like, or like indie, or sort of like wordless music, more like ambient, I guess, or world music or something
Or
like that.
like dream pop, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like stuff like that too.
yeah, and sometimes I'll get into this like funk where I just alternate between like the three. It could come in any random order. It's like maybe one day I'm listening to like all this like indie stuff, like all this like group love and whatnot.
I love group love.
Yeah, oh my gosh. And I listen to what Never Trust a Happy Song like all the time and constantly. And then I'll listen to like more like, you know, early 2000s punk or something like that, like MCR and like Escape the Fate and whatnot. And like
I was pissed that I missed out on their tour. I was like devastated. I got tickets and I was like, I was so ready to go. And I was like, oh, no concerts. I was like, wait, no concerts, but like MCR will play, right? And then it September, like, but MCR will play, right?
Yeah, that frustrated me too. And like also KG and KG Elephant. Like I was supposed to go see them last year because they were gonna be playing in like.
I hear they put on a good show.
Yeah. Like I was gonna go to Harrisburg, but it was canceled. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll get it at some point. But no, I hear it. Yeah, I've always wanted to see them like live and everything because they're my favorite band and all. And I was just like, didn't get to. And I was I was very, very broken heart. I don't know. I've never experienced heartbreak that rough, but it was hard. But for real, anyway, I'll go through phases where I just kind of alternate like the same things. And once I wear the living heck out of like all 3 options, I kind of
gravitate.
Yeah, I'll like force myself to kind of branch off and listen to something new. So I'll usually take a lot of recommendations and just try like new different things. Like I'll listen to some absolutely random off the wall stuff. Like I'll be listening to like classical or like more like big band like Artie Shaw, Benny Goodman.
I love Benny. Yeah, I have some vinyl of his.
Yeah, I just got an Artie Shaw vinyl the other day. And I'll just listen to some like older stuff, or I'll listen to like Maureen Forrester. She does like opera and stuff, like for just no reason.
I'm half a block away from my record store at work, and it's dangerous. It's like, oh, I'll go on my break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know how you feel.
The worst. Yeah. I'm I'm on first name basis. I know all their drink orders and stuff like that. Like I'll bring stuff over and be like, hey,
that's great.
That new pup vinyl, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what about you, Todd?
Yeah, Todd. What about you?
So I kind of forgot the question. Is you go through phases? Is that the question?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I go through that pretty drastically. Like I said, like right now I'm in like a weird R&B phase. It probably started with R. Kelly. I definitely had a big phase for a long time, like kind of folk music, like Johnny Cash. What I need is more country or whatever, like Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, shit like that, like singer-songwriter stuff.
Well, yeah, you mentioned like Jeff Rosenstock and stuff like that, so I'm assuming like you like stuff like Frank Turner or like that kind of like more like singer songwriter like
Yeah,
instrumental kind of thing.
exactly. I always have like rap's almost always in the rotation because I'm so fucking depressed all the time. Like,
Oh, yeah, and nothing beats '90s rap. You can't.
yeah, exactly. Like if it's hard to be in a bad mood and listen to DMX. Like, are you gonna listen to like Where the Hood
Yeah,
At and just be like
it's
grumpy?
impossible. Yeah, you can't.
So that's usually always there. A big thing for me is, especially working from home now, I have music playing almost constantly. Not to listen to, but to almost drown out
The silence.
Yeah, exactly. So I can focus. Ironically enough, it's not a distraction. It's I drown it out and focus on work. But I've been slowly getting back into some dubstep. I had a big dubstep phase in college, not like
All right.
wubstep, like Skrillex and shit like that, but like the UK garage kind of
Is it
stuff.
the more like the EDM kind of thing?
Yeah, a little bit of that, a little more like the ambient stuff.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Burial and all that. It really depends. It really depends, honestly, artistically on what I'm doing too. And I'll usually I don't go with genres so much as I identify with artists within the genre. So like I can't say there's one genre I like where it's like I'm a rockist or I'm a pop fan or whatever. It's usually just like a weird scattershot collection of people.
I'm literally looking at my Spotify right now about like what I play at the gym, and it goes from like surf music, like the Surfing Gorillas, to like White Denim, Moon Hooch, which is like more like jazzy kind of stuff. We Were Promised Jetpacks, like Tame It, but like always Tame Impala and like The Weeknd now. Like I don't know who the hell I am right now. But like American football, drafts, like Morning Teleportation, like it goes all over the place.
Exactly.
But always Circus Survive, always Anthony Green. Like I have those guys that like I will always go back to, like a bad fucking ex-boyfriend. Like you just go back because it's comfortable.
Exactly. Like Kanye and the Beach Boys are like always in my rotation.
Love the Beach Boys. I saw Brian Wilson perform, and I got so upset because he just sat there behind the piano and ate an apple. Like he didn't do anything, and like everyone in the crowd was having a great time, and I was like, this is fucking sad.
Yeah, I almost saw him. I thought about it when he performed Pet Sounds after the Love and Mercy movie
just picked
came
up that vinyl,
and it's the best album ever made.
It literally is, yeah.
And it's not even like my personal favorite. I just think it's objectively the best. It's like one of my favorites, but I think it's probably the best.
I saw the video with John Cusack too, portraying like Brian, and it's so fucking good. Like, definitely had to watch it like twice in a row. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I remember around that time, Brian Wilson was like touring, and I thought I should go do this, because I hate to address the elephant in the room, but I should probably go before he dies. And, and I thought, I was like, I'd seen some live performances, and like it seems like when he's good, but like you said, there's like the Apple incidents. And I don't know. I didn't want to risk it. I felt like it'd be too sad if I went and it was one of those off nights.
Yeah, I hit him on an off night. And it didn't help, like, the guy in front of me at the merch table, like, bought everything. That was really a dick move on his part.
Because, like, I didn't think it was possible for bad concerts until, like, I went to one. And it was the most
you go to bad concerts with bad concert goers.
I'd say I am a bad concert goer, probably.
Are you really?
I think I'm a total, like, wallflower.
Yeah.
Especially at this one, because I hurt my back at work because I had to, like, lift manure. So, like, I could hardly stand. So I was just pissed. And I went with my ex to see Manchester Orchestra and Brand New, which are two bands that I'm not into anyways.
I'm not into Brand New, but I've seen them.
Yeah, I saw them twice.
I went for Front Bottoms, and
that's fine. I like Front Bottoms' earlier stuff, and they're a fun
Modern
live
Baseball.
band.
Yeah, Modern Baseball.
I saw Modern Baseball too. Actually, they were opening, but I
saw them in Allentown. It was like a weird time.
But yeah, I just went because I was dating a girl who wanted to go, and like it was like at that era of Brand New where like they clearly didn't give a shit about anything. They just wanted to be out of their contract or whatever. They're like literally advertising shirts.
I love when bands get to that moment.
That were like 2000 to 2018, I think, was when they wanted to end. And like you could just tell when they were performing, like they were just so bored, and it was just like the most shameless cash grab shit. And what's so funny is like I still don't like the band, but like
Mhm.
I've listened to their discography out of curiosity because I once did in like high school and early college. So I'll give this another shot. And the weird thing is that the only stuff I related to was the stuff that they had like on their newest album, which I know Lexi's a big fan of. It was like the stuff about them being exhausted and wanting to stop doing art. I used to be like,
Yeah,
this is
I
stupid.
always like kind of like strangely enjoy that when artists even like through their music and stuff like that are like, hey, we hate this, like this isn't fun anymore, like it like the passion's gone, like but we're still doing it kind of thing. Like I think at that, and then at that point I think they're just doing it for like not the clout, but like because like they're contracted to basically.
There's a great documentary that's kind of about that incidentally, is Don't Look Back by Bob Dylan, right? Like when he went from like country to electric guitars and him just
I'll have to check
fighting
that out.
with reporters and just like, it's so funny because he gets upstaged easily by like one of his guest acts when she performs. Like clearly he's pissed at the audience, he doesn't want to do it. It keeps showing I forget which track it is, but he performs the track like 3 times throughout it, and he plays it faster throughout the movie at the different shows because he clearly just wants to get through it. And I used to hate that stuff.
You always know when artists don't want to be there.
But like the older I get, like I don't want to write another book. It is so devastating. It is so exhausting. It is so like just crippling with my personal life because of the amount of just energy I put into it. But I keep coming back to it. And it's weird because now I'm older and I, like you said, I totally get that feeling and identify with it. And I kind of love that kind of art. Like, I don't love all the examples I gave. Like, I love that Bob Dylan movie, but like, when artists are like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm on tour all the time. I have to write.
Half the time I don't
music to
even know
feed
what
my
I'm
kid.
doing. And I'm just like, oh, I just did this today. Like, look, a cat. It's just like, I'm going to post it. Because it's just, I feel like you got to just do something just to kind of either be relevant or to be trending, or I don't know. I hate those social pressures
For me,
that people put on each other.
For me, it's almost like I try to step away, and Maureen knows this better than anyone because I've talked to her so many times. Like, after this book, I'm just gonna kill myself or whatever. Like, I'm done. And
I get the whole like 27 club. I get the whole like artists are only famous when they're dead. Like, I understand. Like, you put so much effort into something and you basically give birth to something from nothing, and you're just like, oh, fuck this, I'm dead inside basically anyway. So it's like, what does it matter?
And what sucks is like you have that next morning feeling where like you wake up in bed next to the book you wrote or the page or whatever, and you're like,
yeah, and you're like,
right,
oh shit, what have I done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm never doing this again. That's it for me.
Stay
And then
drunk
a week later I'm walking around like, oh yeah, look at the buildings, I'll think about what do I think about? Oh, the grass is okay. There's some snow on it, and like fuck, I got to structure something. I got to think about a character. I am so boring.
Yeah, you're like your worst critic basically. But going back to like music and stuff like that, real quick. What do you guys think trajectory wise like is going to be the fate for live music? I'm always curious because like even in like my town and stuff like that, like things are starting to open up, but like it's not getting back to where it was.
Honestly, I think live streaming is going to be a lot more popular than it ever was. And I know because there's some like actually local theaters around Pittsburgh that are, you know, advertise like the Oaks in Oakmont. They're advertising like pay per use for streaming. Like you can use their space.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I feel like
cool.
I feel like it's going. And my neighbor actually, who lives above me, he is a musician, and he said that he does a lot more streaming than he ever used to because he plays with a band and everything. So I honestly was listening to him play a little bit here and there, like even during while we're talking now, because he plays all the time and he sounds really good. I've never got to see him perform or anything, but he tells me he does a lot of the stuff on Facebook. They do like a lot of like buy donation and whatnot.
Yeah, my friend does a lot of like live streaming, like a few nights a week and stuff like that. And he's always playing. Even like more like well-known artists that are like stuck at home with their kids and stuff like that. They're doing that too. They're like literally working from home because they're like, I can't be on the road. I can't go on tour. I can't do this like how I normally would.
Yeah, and I'm sure I feel that live events will come back. But I think it'll take quite a bit of time.
I think it's not going to be until, like, honestly, like, 2022 to be like realistically speaking. Like I think we have like another year of last year basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm glad that like you brought up the streaming stuff, Maureen, because I think that's the future temporarily. And so here's what I see happening just in what I've witnessed in my nook of Pittsburgh. So all the small venues have been shut down. All the indie artists and maybe the more successful ones too, I don't know, are streaming stuff. So like just to promote some people, like the dude I was going to watch today, Samuel Winterberger, he's been doing a live show a week, either at a venue that's open or he made a stage in his backyard or in his living room or whatever.
I've got a home studio down in my basement. Like we've been having to get really fucking crafty lately.
Yeah, so we're going to see stuff like that, which is awesome. Lexi's done a ton of videos and streams, which are really
I've watched
cool.
some of them. They're awesome.
Yeah, those are definitely,
like
some of those are
bathtub.
archived.
Sick.
And people should check those out. And so that's going to be a big thing, and that's really fun. That's actually one of the things about lockdown that I've began to appreciate. Whereas at first I didn't quite understand because I was working more rather than less for a bit of time. I was like, why is all this streaming? Like, no, everybody's busy. I was like, oh, wait, most people are actually out of work or working less.
Yeah,
and it's actually like
have a lot of time on their hands.
Yeah, once I got to that point myself, which is kind of where I'm at still, it actually became such a comfort to do. So I think that's going to be big. And I think, unfortunately, so we're seeing the extinction of small venues. Let's be real. Like, bars are shutting down. Small venues are shutting down. Like, house shows, obviously, you know, people can get a new house and host shows there. But, like, the kind of mid-tier places, like, I'm going to be real. Like, if we see this 2022 is when we see shows again. Like, I think Mr. Smalls in Pittsburgh, it's on its last leg, probably. It does not seem promising from what I've seen on their social media. I think that...
is it the Boot and Saddle in Philadelphia? Like, a really long time venue closed down. And, like, if people were, like, freaking the fuck out. And I was like, this is insane. Like, somewhere I've been going for, like, 15 years, basically, closed down due to COVID. I was like, this is bizarre.
It's awful. Hambones, where Long Shot Books, we did our first Long Shot Live, our debut live event.
I love that name. That's sick.
Oh, it was the coolest bar. I loved going there, and just like it's such a great hole in the wall. But they also had a stage, and they were big for the stand-up comedy scene. A really cool place. It's unfortunately shut down. And so I think the big venues are going to stay open. And when live events come back, it's going to be huge. Like if Bruce Springsteen tours, it's going to be nuts.
Businesses too, like. I think just Walmart and Target and like all these like huge big conglomerates are going to be just left.
I agree. I think we're seeing like the tyranny of corporatism right now. And it's like,
it's disgusting.
We're like oddly enough living through the worst aspects of capitalism and the worst aspects of communism in once.
It's bizarre. And, hence my breadline situation.
Yeah, like as someone who's like essentially a centrist, it's just fucking horrifying. It's like, how are we 1984 and Brave New World? It was one or the other. We were never told it was going to be both.
I wasn't promised this.
And here we are. So. But I think that, you know, like, that's going to be the future for the next 2 or 3 years. Eventually, when the economy comes back, and it's going to take a while, let's be real. Like, unfortunately, our generation has just been through utter shit. From, like, the Bush crash to the COVID crash with the stock
housing market crash.
Yeah. It's just truly bad luck.
None of us will ever become homeowners unless, like, one of our parents just dies randomly.
Yeah, exactly. We can look forward to that.
Yeah.
But like,
can you just hurry up already so I can have a stable place to live and I don't have to pay rent?
But we do have one advantage. We do have the internet, so it's all worth it. Let's be real.
We do, and they don't know how to work it. So
yeah, so
I can attest to that. Jokes on them.
I'm quite tired of living through historical events.
Oh, likewise. Also, just like I was telling my one roommate, I'm just becoming so desensitized to things. Like I'll laugh when I like see the news. Like I'm just like, cause it doesn't seem real. It just seems like some glitchy, like faulty program.
I'm so like, I'm trying to think, I'm so dubious of the news. Like I become like a fucking
very
researcher.
hesitant to trust anything.
Yeah, like anytime there's a big event or something happening, like
that, or just like anything that's on a news bulletin, I'm just like, I get a lot of my source from Reddit. I don't know. I feel like I may be alone in that aspect, but
Yeah,
I don't trust the news.
I go to various things like, and I'm always where I'm probably on watch list for it, but like I'm like on Facebook, and then like I may check out like Reddit or just a general like news site like Yahoo or something pops up, and they'll go to like 4chan or something to see what the crazies think.
That's still a thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, I love it. Like it's like watching a John Waters movie or something. Just like go into the carnival. I never post, but I love just seeing the crazies and like the fights and all that. So like I look at that shit because on Facebook or whatever you're gonna see different sources of information. So like your friend from your hometown's gonna put like 3 reasons the new Biden bill sucks and is awful, and then someone else from college is gonna put 3 reasons the new Biden's new bill will save America. And it's good to get those counterpoints.
I get like weird news updates on my computer and everything like that at work, and I'm just like, oh well, okay. And then it'll be like something totally different contradicting what I just heard, and I'll just be like, all right. So I'm very wary of everyone and everything. I still don't trust a lot of like straight white men to begin with, so it doesn't really help that they kind of dictate the media.
I just I don't trust the media. I don't trust, and it's not like there's an alternative that I do trust.
No, I trust my gut.
Yeah, I try to get to the bottom of it, but ultimately I just decide that I don't know anyhow.
Yeah, and we'll never know. So don't hurt yourself thinking about it too much.
Definitely not. And that's the thing. Like nobody's happy. Here's the thing: is like nobody's happier because they follow politics.
No. Everyone's like, that's always one of the things that I was told not to mention at like a family gathering. And now that I don't have to go to family gatherings anymore, I don't have to talk about it, which is nice.
That's why I think I'm just gonna like, I was talking about this with Maureen right before we started recording. I think I'm just gonna slowly like get the fuck out of it and just become an artistic recluse, because I don't want to know about this stuff, and it's not affecting anything if I do or don't. I'm just unhappier. Like, I'd rather just write my books, watch silly movies, listen to music,
just enjoy yourself, kind of thing.
Because, yeah, at this point, like, what happens is going to happen. So, like, I don't know. For me personally, like, it's just not worth it to me anymore. It's just too depressing.
Yeah, I'm living the dream.
Definitely. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm living the dream, being completely detached from anything. But no, I mean, I don't know. It's a balance to stay like informed between staying like unbothered. I guess
you walk that line.
Yeah, and honestly, it's crazy when you think about political gain, all this like insane landscape we live in. I'm like, people actually dedicate their lives to like certain like political
people
ends, and I'm like, this is so abstract. I don't know. It's interesting, but. Yeah, I don't even know where I was going with this. I just find like when you kind of like step outside of it and you get like super meta, because I tend to do that sometimes. You think like, this entire system that we have is just a system by which humanity governs itself, so that there's some kind of semblance of order. And it's just
really, there's nothing.
Yeah, and it's just like different people arguing on how the system should be run. And I don't know, it kind of makes my brain crazy, I guess. But
likewise, like, bitch, I just want to like watch a show and go to a fucking party at this point. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Like, I take back everything I said about my life, my mundane life before all this. Like I want it back. Like,
right.
How I feel is that like, it is just my opinion or my experience, but like politics and all that, like it just makes people more hateful towards each other. Like when I think about humanity or general people, I generally think I'm fairly caring, and I try as hard as I can not to hate anybody and to be forgiving and as much of a humanitarian. But then you get into politics and it's like a fucking boxing match. And the older I get, the more I feel that it's very difficult to be ethical while being political. And so I try to just like approach things from a human standpoint at this point, because as far as I'm concerned, and seeing how COVID was handled, at least in America, I can't speak for other countries, it just shows that like politicians and politics don't care about ethics. It's just a fucking sport, and it's a losing game for us
100%.
citizens.
They care about no one but them.
For sure. So I got one last question.
I'm ready.
And
Let's do it.
This is all you gotta deal with me. I promise it's gonna be a super fun one.
Can I guess what it is?
Sure.
Is it just what's up?
Yeah, no.
What? That'd be an awesome question.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm not that cool. But I was just gonna say, any recommendations? Music
wise.
Yes.
Todd, go first and come back to me.
I gotta Google mine. It's a weird one, and I've already sang praise for this to Maureen. Hold on, I'm setting my mic down for a second.
All right, well, I'll go then.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Cage Elephant is my favorite band of all time. So I really like their second album, Thank You, Happy Birthday. Like it's such a unique kind of, just because there's such a range to it. And I don't know about you guys, but I always have this weird peeve of mine where, like, when every song unintentionally sounds the same on the album. Like, I could see maybe if it was something like thematically, that's one thing, but like, I've run into certain bands, I'm not going to name any names, the myriad, that do that. And but with like Thank You, Happy Birthday, like they literally produce a song each song is like inspired by like a different genre, they use like different techniques. Like my favorite song on the album is Shake Me Down, and I really like the fact that, like, they play they use like toy drums and whatnot, like in this entire thing, and I
love stuff like that. I just got a ton drum, which is like this like little kid toy thing, and it comes with like a little kid book, and like the guy who, when he gave it to me when I went to meet up with him to like pay for it, he's like, yeah, my 3-year-old plays with this. I was like, yeah. I'm like pushing 30, dude. I was like, I need this for like a spoken word poetry thing that I'm about to drop. Like, I need this ton drum. Like, just give it to me already.
That's pretty great. And
yeah.
And I would say also anything White Stripes. I'm generally a big fan of them. I just got their White Blood Cells album. Like, I'm ashamed that I don't own enough of their music and whatnot, but I'd say anything from them. But just because like they're kind of like the band where I can put on like any album, kind of like the Arctic Monkeys too. Like you can put on like any album, or
they pop up on my Spotify all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but like you can put on anything of theirs, and it's just agreeable, and I'm always in the mood for it. And, like, I don't care if I'm like so deep into this like Artie Shaw or like Escape the Fate phase. Like I don't care, but I'm like I will always be in the mood for the White Stripes at all times.
That's awesome. I've had like another like resurgence of like ska again. Randomly, I don't know why, but ska and I always like find each other again in times of need. I think like there when I want it. I know like I can get it, like kind of thing. It's always available to me.
I have found my recommendation. Ash, did you want to go since I fumbled there?
Yeah, I'll go real quick. So I've been digging Bright Eyes lately. I'll be playing that at work. Just because I think he's got just such a distinct voice and stuff like that, and I love like that whole Bright Eyes La Dispute kind of thing vibe. I'm really into Beach Bunny. It's like all female kind of like vocals and stuff like that. Any kind of female vocals lately I've actually been really digging, which I kind of shy away from. I'm a hard believer in Pup forever. Like I love them so much. Modern Baseball, Andrew Jackson, Jihad, Jeff Rosenstock, as you were saying. I like the Unicorns actually, and the Mountain Goats. And my coworker Pat is actually the only person I know really in like my vicinity that actually will put on the Mountain Goats, and we'll just both smile and we'll just be like, "I'm really happy you did that today, Pat. Like, thank you so much." A lot of like Circus Survive, Anthony Green, and like American football. So it's kind of like really what I've been listening to lately in my recommendations.
Yeah, well, since you brought up, I have to co-sign on Bright Eyes and American Football. I've listened to them a lot while I was writing.
Writing music.
I think Joanna Newsom is the best songwriter of all time.
I have her vinyl. That's so funny that you say that. The yellow one with Peach Plum Pear.
Oh, awesome! Peach Plum Pear is what got me into her.
Yeah,
Love that
I
one.
used to get really high with my one friend in high school, and we'd listen to Sprout and the Bean, and she could play it on her electrical harp. It was like the sickest thing in the world. It was so cool.
Oh, that's incredible. Lately, what got me back into music was this album by The Caretaker called Everywhere
Mm.
at the End of Time. It's actually 6 albums, and it's kind of
Oh,
one
cool.
cohesive experience. And what it is it starts with like dance hall music, and there's like kind of record, just pops, like vinyl pops and all
Hmm.
that. And over the course of roughly 6 hours, it deteriorates and it gets more static. It gets harder to understand. Tracks repeat themselves as though it's like struggling to remember. And the whole thing's an allegory for dementia and losing your mind. And like the last like
Oh,
3 albums are basically noise, and then the end is this ethereal kind of like choir music that makes it sound as though you're dying. And it's a really unique
oh, so it's like a
experience.
whole endeavor.
And
Like, do I need to go like trip on shrooms and like put this on? Like, is
I'd
that what you're saying?
recommend it.
Yeah,
I
all right.
never had a fear of
I got
dementia
Saturday booked then.
before, and after listening to this album, I became horrified of it, and it gave me a new fear, which I've never had before from an album, and it got me thinking about things I'd never considered, and just totally reinvigorated my interest in art, and music particularly. So I gotta give a lot of props to that. Unfortunately, I think
Hmm.
we do got to get going for time, but
Yeah, definitely. But thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
thank you,
And
and
I know we
Thanks for coming
rambled,
on.
and thanks Zoom for allowing us to go beyond our allotted 40 minutes.
thank you, Zoom, and Ash, thank you, and we'll definitely have to have you
Yes,
back on
thank you.
sometime. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys. I'll see you every Wednesday.